Morning everyone, how are we getting on? So welcome back to another video and welcome back to another grey and overcast day in the UK. Another Sunday where it's grey, but we do have one bit of a difference today. There's some mist hanging about and it's absolutely beautiful. So I am happier than I was last week because it's not cold, it's not wet, not getting sideways rain, and the mist is creating for a beautiful atmosphere up in the woods. I've come today to a section on Leith Hill, the Surrey Hills. I just felt drawn back up here again after seeing what the forecast was going to be, and the thought in my mind that there might be some mist hanging about, and I was quite right. I've not been let down on it. Yeah, it's stunning. I've come in the afternoon, in fact. This morning was nice and foggy and things like that, and I thought about getting out early. But I went out with the lads last night for a couple of beers and I couldn't be bothered to get up too early. So I thought, you know what, I'll about turn it and I'll come out in the afternoon. And luckily up here, because you're quite high up, it's all hung around still. So, yeah, it's lovely, lovely. So, once again, I couldn't recommend it highly enough, exploring around here. So yeah, again, today's theme, once again, is going to be cinematic woodland photography, this time on Leith Hill on the Surrey Hills. Yeah, it's nice. I'm trying to think of what to say right now. Anyway, I'm not going to rabbit on too much more because I can't think of anything. I was going to do a theme today and then I just can't be bothered. I feel like just wandering around the woods, enjoying myself and finding some nice pictures to take and sharing those with you, rather than trying to give you guys some great big monologue about something to do with life or whatever. I'm sure you don't want to hear it either. There's enough people doing that. So I found my first photo. Let's get to this. It gets recording so you guys can see what's going on. Yeah, and it's just a very pleasing image. I quite like it. I was wandering about, as I always do, having a look, trying to find something that I thought was interesting. And this spot it drew me here. There's a mixture of elements that I really like about it. The sort of mossy bank that we've got on the, oh, you can't see my finger, on the right hand side there, I quite like because it's has strong colours against the mist that I'm sure you can see in the backdrop. But the other thing that drew me was this arrangement of trees, which I think are firs of some description, looking at them. But you see what they're doing? You've got like this one that's quite vertical, and then you've got the next one there, and the one behind that just slightly leans a bit. And then the very last one's leaning over even more. So I have a slight bit of a path going through. This is actually a bike trail. I've ridden this part before. And I like the way that is acting like a bit of a guide, like an arch to guide you through. Or a curve even would be more to the point. And it just drew me in, and everything's just really very nicely complemented with the mist that's sitting in the background. And helping to separate all these foreground subjects or foreground interest from that at the back. It just creates quite a moody image, I think. Quite a nice looking image. One little thing that is bugging me, which I couldn't get out of the scene, is this stinging nettle that's hanging over at the bottom there. So I might edit that out in Photoshop later on, I'm not too sure. But overall, I'm really pleased with this image. I think it's really nice. I was looking for something a bit different. Like, when I was going back through my photos the other day, I think what I said 2 weeks ago on the Pitch Hill video, that I'm always going for leading lines or similar style shots quite a bit. I think it's a little bit different to an image that I'd usually take. But overall, I just think everything really complements each other there. So we've got the greens on the ground and the oranges of the bracken. Dying leaves up on the top. They just help to be punctuated by that mist at the back. But yeah, so that's the first image. I'll leave you with this guy or with that, guys, and a bit of B-roll. As always, so thank you very much for watching. I want to mooch around, try and engage my brain a bit more so I can think of some things to say to you all. But yeah, did I mention? No, I think I cut that out of the video. Yeah, my new car broke down last week. I got that fixed yesterday, so that's a little win. Anyway, I'll stop rabbiting. I want to wander about and try and find another image, and I'll get you guys back behind the camera with me and we'll talk it through. Thank you. Hello again. How are we all getting on? So I've found my next photo. I found my next photo. I've really been enjoying my walk around it. It's absolutely beautiful out here today. With this sort of soft mist, I don't know whether you can pick that out on that. You can pick out that mist behind me. I think it's just hanging around. It's just make everything look very, just very serene. It's funny how it changes, isn't it? It's like when I was here 2 weeks ago and I went to Pitch Hill, which is the next hill along, and it was all about the sunlight and the beautiful sunset we were getting, and that sunlight was creating this real atmosphere that just made everything very serene. Serene's going to be the word of the day, very serene. And fast forward 2 weeks and I'm up here and it's completely overcast and we've got no sunlight, but because we're getting that mist hanging around, everything once again is very serene, but a different type of serene. If there's a different way of expressing it, it just makes it look beautiful. Creates a real sort of nice atmosphere, and we've got the birds. I don't know how well you guys can hear them, but the birds are really in song today as well. They're quite happy, so yeah, it's nice. So anyway, on to the next photo that I found. Now, this one, I'm not too sure which order I want to put that B-roll, those clips that I've recorded in, but this scene that I've got here, specifically what drew me to it first was this tree that you can see on the right hand side there. See that gnarly looking tree with all the moss all over it? I just thought it was a really pretty looking tree. And I was walking down, there's a path that goes along through there, walking down, and I saw that, and then I was obsessed with getting a picture of it with some bokeh on plants in front of all blurred out plants, and then coming on to that. Anyway, it just drew me in. I wanted them for a bit. I was like, no, come back and get that. And initially, I wanted to make that tree, it's really pushed off to the right of this frame, but I wanted to make that the central focus of the image. So I was back there and I was working out different ways in which to be able to do that, like what sort of foreground interest I could use, how to frame it up, how to balance it with the trees that you can see here that from that angle surrounded it. And I didn't find anything that I was really happy with. I just wasn't too sure, and it looked a bit, the balance wasn't quite right, because you can see that bit of a darker tree there. He was very dominant in the left hand of the frame, and I was working around trying to find a way in which to take him out or to keep him in, and I wasn't happy with it. But anyway, as I was doing that, I come and set that camera up, the camera you guys I'm talking to you on, over here where I am now. And I happened to look, and I was like, oh, that looks quite good. Oh, that's quite pleasing. So I reframed. So it was a case of, I don't know, like I don't think it's a compromise, but more just a case of, well, actually, this looks better. My original intention was to have that tree central in the image, because I really liked it, and I still really like it. But I just couldn't get the balance of elements that I liked. I couldn't get the picture to work well. But I think this one works really well. I just like the arrangement of those four trees. I'm hoping I'll be able to create the depth I think one of the things I will do, or I have done, is I've focused on this nearest tree here, so the natural sort of effects of aperture and depth of field help to, like, I don't know what that is, drop birds, I think, drop the sort of strength, just to help them fade away in focus, to give more prominence to the front and to give you that sense of depth in the image. Otherwise, like, the mist is helping with that, but I've lost my train of thought. Birds really put me off. God damn you. Yeah, I like the way that looks, and I think it'll look very pleasing when I edit the photo as well, because of course we've got the greens of the mosses and the grasses down there, and then obviously the orange bracken. It made for a nice pleasing image. Is that cinematic? I think it could be. You know, it looks like maybe some fairies or some hobbits might go running across there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm very happy with that image. I'm quite pleased with it. I think I prefer it to the last one, though I do like the last one. I think I really like this image. So, anyways, I'll stop babbling. I'll say thank you again. I'll leave you with this image and some B-roll. And once I've found another, obviously the aim, as always, will be one more photo. I'm just going to take my time and mooch around until I find something that I really like. Yeah, I'll speak to you guys in a little bit. Hello again. So I've found my last image. It's just, once again, I'm going to repeat myself. It's all very, very enchanting up here today. Oh, serene and enchanting. I literally didn't walk very far. I was just over there a moment ago at the last shot. Like, I'm walking through this way. I thought I'd follow this trail down. This is another bike trail. And head off and see what I can see that down that way. And just as I walked in, I was just enraptured by this image here. You know, it really sort of caught my imagination as soon as I looked at it. I think it's one that's very, very, very like fairy-like. You know, it's something that you might see in a film that fairies would be in that I can't think of, or like The Hobbit or something like that. It's just a mixture of elements that's in the image. Obviously, there's a path coming, or a trail that's going off and through down the sort of mid-left of the scene there. That tree on the left-hand side, that little baby tree there, so that really caught me because of the different shades. You got the oranges on it, and then you got the sort of deeper orange, almost red on the top there. That sort of caught my eye, and I guess that bouncing off all the green that's on the right-hand side and then the mist in the distance there. It's just everything that gave me that sort of impression of something out of one of those sorts of films, because of course it's all quite colourful, quite vibrant, but it's also got a bit of dank to it, to use a word that I used a long time ago. I really like it, and I do love this tree up here. If you can see this one out there, and the spindly branches it's got coming off, and it's absolutely capered in moss all the way over it. So there's just a lot of elements there, and it didn't take me long to frame up. I just worked backwards and forwards, trying to find the best way to capture it. Because it's misty today, I want to make sure that I capture that mist in the image as well. I don't know if you understand sort of how focal lengths work, but the sort of the longer your focal length, the more of that mist you'll maintain, if that makes sense. And the wider the focal length, the less of that mist you'll maintain. I'm not too sure as to why that is. I guess it's like your vision, really, exactly how your vision works. If you think when you look at something in the distance and you see it quite misty and then you walk up to it, it becomes a bit clearer. I'm assuming it's the same principle of what's going on with your eyes with the lens on a camera. So I wanted to basically, I've pushed this out to 40mm and I was just working backwards and forwards trying to find the best balance of everything. Because of course, for me, it's always about keeping it looking like it can be something that's seen in a film. Because the temptation, I suppose, is to get in close to particular things. I don't know, isolate certain subjects out of the environment, but I don't want to do that. I want to capture the whole environment as you can see it there. And I'm really pleased with that image. I think I'll be very happy with how that comes out. There was another thing I was working on, and it's just the sort of angle of the shot. See, now I'm sort of angled down it a bit. Initially I set up, I was quite flat. I was trying one that was looking up. But I think for a lot of the time, I find that you get the most pleasing image for like cinematic frames when things are just poked down a little bit. I don't know why that is. I guess it's because it's bringing a lot more of the foreground in to really just helps to give that feeling. At least it does to me anyway. But yeah, no, I'm quite happy with that. I'm very pleased with my little visit up to Leith Hill today. As I say, once again, I couldn't recommend it highly enough. There's been a lot of people out here walking today purely for the very reason that it is so pretty here. I've just been distracted by trees over there, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just such a beautiful spot. And Leith Hill, especially, it's the one that's famous for the big tower. It was built 100 odd years ago, or possibly more than that. I'm a bit further down into the woods, so coming down into the valley a bit. It's on the north side of that tower. There's another car park, I can't remember, I think it's called Stairville Car Park. And I've wandered in what I believe would be east from there to get where I am now. And it's a very enchanted woodland, very serene and very enchanted. So I do highly recommend this a visit here. I'm going to come back periodically, I think, just through, because I'd like to get a nice sunset up at the tower, or a sunrise, possibly, one of the two. But yeah, it was just the perfect place to come and visit today, I think. I still want to get off down the coast, and I'm battling on a hell of a lot, and do some stuff. But whilst the weather's like this, I just come to the woods, love it, beautiful. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you very much. Good morning, good day, good evening, good night, and all the rest of it. I'm getting attacked by brambles now, so I'll catch you all later on. Thank you very much, guys.